Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California, and this has been an interesting morning. Started to do a video to give you an update. Now things have changed again, so let's just go into the Monarch butterflies. You know how I made this makeshift butterfly enclosure out of a $6 tote with some tulle. I get the tulle from eBay. I do have a link underneath if you want to check it out. You can get it anywhere, any craft store, but I get it for 40 yards. For, let's see, it's 40 yards, 54 inches wide, and it's under $15. It used to be 10, it went up a little bit. But the thing is, it is worth it. And I use it, of course, like make these domes and stuff to cover my plants. I use it all over the garden. It has saved more plants on here. I wouldn't have half if I didn't have that tulle here. So tulle is one of my favorite things. But here is the second Monarch now that has just emerged. Look, there is the chrysalis, and it just came out. I've got a couple more. I don't even know where the first one came out of. So it might have been underneath one of the sticks, because last night I came here and there was a butterfly that had just come out. It was evening, so I didn't want to let it go, because I figured if I let it go in the evening as it's getting dark, a bat's going to come by and get it. So what I ended up doing was waiting till this morning, took it out, and then it went into the bottle brush. And I'm showing you all the footage I actually did this morning. Then I decided, after looking at it, we've got an issue. I've got an issue. I've been moving parts of my milkweed in to feed the caterpillars, the Monarch caterpillars. Well, the issue with that is every time I grab a stem, there's eggs on there. And now I've got at least 3, if not more, caterpillars again. And this was not going to be a regular thing because I do the hummingbirds, I do the gardening. So I decided now I had to kind of fix things up, because it looks like I'll be doing monarchs for a lot longer than I thought. So I made a unit to hold milkweed, because right now I'm using a spice bottle and it works. I showed you in the last videos. I just wash it out, put some twigs in there, branches from fresh milkweed, and then I can move it, you know, out as they dry or get eaten and put in new. So that's what I've been doing with that. But now that there's so many more that are starting to hatch, I took a cottage cheese container, and with my hot soldering gun, oh, I love my hot soldering iron, I should say, I went ahead and made a bunch of holes. Now I can fill the container, the bottom part of the container, full of water, and just continue to pick stems, slide them in the holes. You see how it's done, and it just works perfect. It's got weight to it, so it's not going to be knocked over accidentally by, well, there's no wind, but you know, a caterpillar, or just even accidentally. It's got good weight with the water in there. It's got the holes on the top for me to be able to put new plants in. And all in all, it just works perfect. So now I put that in. I actually made that this morning, and I propped up my camera so you can watch me do it. So now I've come back, and there are more monarchs. And as I'm standing here, I think that's the new one that just left, because there's the new ones that just emerge. Once they're dry, they are just so beautiful. You'll see here the footage I did this morning with my camera. They just are so velvety. There's not a speck on it out of place. It is just nature's perfect painted canvas. Absolutely gorgeous. So that's what's been going on all morning. I told you I would do an update. So now we've got 2 that came out. We have a couple more. And I guess I'm going to have more in a couple weeks, because the butterflies are getting, the butterflies keep coming and laying more eggs, and every time I take a branch off, I'm bringing eggs in there, whether I know it or not, because they keep laying. They tend to lay 1 egg per leaf, and if they're looking around to find that special leaf, well, then you've got all these leaves covered in eggs. Now, sometimes the egg is underneath the leaf, which is smart. I've seen them climb into the bushes to lay their eggs. They'll only lay on milkweed. And then a lot of times they come by if they're in a hurry, and they just lay on the top. So you never know how they're going to lay. But either way, whatever works for them, I'm going to continue to move the milkweed into the container I made. I'm going to continue to cater to them until I can't. I've got my beautiful top covering it. It works perfect, the double-deckered top, double layer. I've got the top covered, just draped in tulle, clipped on with paper binders. Then I have the dome top on there, because if I just sit the dome top, a caterpillar could get underneath, and I don't want it to, so it's kind of double protection for them. So I have to take the dome off first before I service it, and then put the tulle back on or off depending on what I'm doing. But it works out really, really well. And this way I've also got soil on the bottom, so it's very much like nature because, you know, the plants are growing on soil. So the bottom of the tote's got a couple inches of soil, and then I've got it, you know, I get a little damp, not too damp, but I do add a little bit of water to it when I'm watering the plants, just a small amount. And this way it's, you know, the humidity, everything should be perfect for them. So that's what's going on. Looks like we're gonna have butterflies all over here. I hope a lot of them make it, because we know, you know, with butterflies, even like hummingbirds, they don't all make it. They're very fragile. Things happen. But, you know, if I can help with a few, that adds to nature having a few extra butterflies. What would happen if I left them on the plant? Well, I already know. We've got, our garden is patrolled by birds and even insects. You've got certain bees, wasps, hoverflies, they eat eggs and especially tiny caterpillars, tiny insects. The hummingbirds come in and do the same thing. Not only do they feed on the flowers from the milkweed, they're zipping around looking to see if they can find a little egg, because they need protein too. And if they find a newly hatched monarch, they can take that too. So we have a lot of birds that come in, and then of course if they get too big, the orioles come in and they'll snatch a big caterpillar. So either way, you got nature going all the way around the cycle of life, and by me removing some of the plants with the eggs, we're getting more that are going to hatch and make it, because I have noticed that on the plant itself, I'll see a couple caterpillars and within a day or two, they're all gone, because the birds are coming in, the wasps are coming in, the critters are coming in that eat them. And so very few make it. And that is the way nature works. But I'm going to give nature a little bump by grabbing some of them off, putting them in the tote, letting them go ahead and go through the cycle of life, and then letting them go. From then on, it is up to them. I wish them well, let them go, and hope for the best. And just think, even if it's just a few that I can let go and release into the wild that make it, that's that extra few. They can produce hundreds or thousands. If that one makes it, lays a bunch of eggs, and if another one from their own babies make it, well, there is how the tree, the family tree, grows. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to bump the monarch production up here. We have had personally a lot of monarchs, and I'm going to go ahead and collect seeds that are the pods that are on the milkweed. I'm going to collect those, get a little bit more planted. I have different varieties of milkweed growing here, but right now that's the only one they want. So we'll see what happens. I will keep you informed, but right now we have 2 monarchs that are now let loose into the wild. So with that, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. Don't eat the monarchs.